In Jesus' presence, death is no longer death. It is entirely something else. As the Apostle Paul writes to the church at Corinth, death has now lost its sting, and the grave has lost its victory. How can that be? Well, we see that death itself never intimidated Christ. In fact, throughout his earthly ministry, Jesus identified that he wants to transform the way that we look at death, because he often used the word sleep to describe it. In reference to Jairus' daughter, do you remember this? Jesus said, she's asleep. Despite having intimate knowledge that Lazarus was dead, Jesus told his disciples 2 days after getting the news that he's sick, he said Lazarus was asleep. And they said, well, in their minds they thought, good. If he's sleeping, then he's getting the rest that he needs, and he'll recover and he'll get better, and the illness won't bother him anymore. And Jesus needs to knock on wood, amen, because he says, no, he's not sleeping. He's actually dead. See, for us, sleep is natural and normal, which is why nobody calls a paramedic to come when we lay down to take a nap. The whole point of sleeping is to wake up a little later, stronger for the nap. And in this miracle, Jesus is trying to show his followers that for believers, death is simply like lying down for a good nap. The body may sleep for a long time, for many years, in fact, but in the end, our body will wake up. The Bible makes it clear that the answer to death is not a resurrection. The answer to death is Jesus Christ himself. It says, I am the resurrection and the life. And as a divine title that Jesus assumes and holds, I want you to know that there's no one that can ever hope to escape death unless they are related to Jesus through personal faith. And he says, I am the resurrection and the life. He doesn't say, I have the power to bring life to you. He says, I am life itself. You can live even though you die. Your last breath here on this earth isn't your last breath. This is the fondest, deepest wish inside every human heart, to know that death is not the end. It's only a new beginning. And how sad it must be to come to the end of life and to believe that after death there's nothing at all. Just a vanishing into the cosmos, a passing into the dark night, a marching off the stage into eternal nothingness. Been at funerals like that, where there's no hope. And how difficult is it to gather like that? Without Christ, what other hope do we have? But knowing Jesus makes all of the difference for us. He is truly the answer to death for all. He was declaring that he is the victor over death for all time. In some ways, it's perhaps the most amazing statement that Jesus ever made, because he's clearly saying that death for the believer ceases to be death at all. For life continues in the presence of the Lord. And followers of Jesus Christ, as they breathe their last breath on this earth without delay, without hesitation, without pause, they breathe their very next one in eternity in the presence of the Lord. Can anybody say amen to that? It's an incredible thing. And that's what the Apostle Paul meant when he said, for me to live is Christ, to die is gain. It's what David meant when he declared and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Jesus had this in mind when he promised the dying thief beside him. He said, today you will be with me in paradise.